Welcome to English Vocabulary. Let's get started with the list.
Never.
Example: Your mother would never agree to it. Let's check another sentence. He never turned up.
None.
By no amount.
For instance, it is made none the easier by the differences in approach. Next example. The family wrote to the Home Secretary for information but were left none the wiser.
Not half.
In no way.
For instance, the players are not half bad. Another example. And although I deny it if ever asked, being in the spotlight for something other than being the worst player on a ball team was not half bad. Next example. The fiction's not half bad, but it's the non-fiction that stands out.
No way.
Under no circumstances.
Example: You think she's alone? No way. Let's check another sentence. You can't be serious. No way. Did you get me a car? Another example. Oh, no way. Who would fake being pregnant?
In no wise.
For example, it is admitted that he did sincerely believe in the soundness of his ship, but the sincerity of his conviction can in no wise help him, because he had no right to believe on such evidence as was before him. Next example. Him that cometh to me I will in no wise cast out. Let's check another sentence. The welcome signs, artfully disposed, make it clear that hospitality is merely an elusive flavor, they are in no wise meant to be taken literally.
Not for a, or one, moment.
Never.
Let's try it in a sentence. Kira has done really well, and not for one moment am I jealous of her success. Let's check another sentence. I do not for one moment doubt the medical evidence and I respect the choice of others to live in a safe environment. Let's check another sentence. I wish to make it clear that I do not for one moment suggest that any member of the board is or has been guilty of any dishonesty or disreputable comment.
By no means.
Certainly not.
For example, although the sums paid are by no means small, they are a far cry from what the jet set pay across the water. Let's check another sentence. That is by no means an accurate statement, but it is a grain of truth. Next example. It was by no means a foregone conclusion that the UK would get involved.
Not exactly.
For example, mysteriously, employers have not exactly been falling over themselves in the rush to endorse this call. Next example. It was all extremely glamorous, if not exactly a teenager's idea of fun. Next example. Howard said it is not exactly how they imagined having their first child, but they are both very happy with the new arrival.
Not in the least.
Not in the smallest degree.
For example, and it is not in the least implausible, provided you're with us up to now, that the whole kit and caboodle should fight like wildcats before the island is finally freed. Next example. The guy who checked me in could not have been nicer, a really pleasant fellow who was not in the least bit snobby. Let's check another sentence. The land is not in the least bit fertile and yet the cattle herds grow larger and larger.
Not, or never, a whit.
Let's try it in a sentence. My point is we're not voting because it doesn't make a whit of difference. Next example. We have never got to the bottom of what happened on the dirt tissue and nobody seems to care a whit about it. Let's check another sentence. And if Mr. Chandran is dubbed as brash and outspoken by the industry's bigwigs, he does not seem to care a whit.
Not by a long chalk.
By no means.
For example, this is not the worst movie ever made, not by a long chalk. Another example. And, added Gills, because he wasn't finished, not by a long chalk, I bet that one of the tabloids sends a Diana look-alike down to the registry office. Next example. USB may be built into almost all PCs that ship today, but that doesn't mean the majority of users are hooking peripherals up to their machines using that bus, not by a long chalk.
What do you think of this list? Please share your opinion in the comment section below. If you liked the video, please hit the thumb up and share it. Also, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. By the way, the photos on this video are street photography of London, and don't directly represent the topics. You can find the photographer's Instagram in the description below. If you have any suggestion for the video graphics, please let us know in the comments.